What's good, y'all? CT signing in. On January 2nd, I uploaded my NFL investigation into the apparent power struggle taking place around the Washington football team. My conclusion was that Dan Snyder was in jeopardy of losing the team due to reports of sexual misconduct, with Jeff Bezos lurking in the water, ready to buy the team if a forced sale took place. And to prevent this from happening, Snyder sacrificed Dwayne Haskins so the media would have something else to focus on, while also portraying Snyder as not tolerating inappropriate sexual deviancy, as it was reported that Haskins partied maskless at a strip club. Now, I took a lot of heat when I first posted this video. The comments have been taken down now, but a few fans came at me crazy for giving my analysis on the situation. 2 months later though, it's been reported that Jeff Bezos has indeed been looking to purchase the football team, in addition to Dan Snyder's alleged decision to purchase social media bots to repair his image and stay in the NFL's good graces. A lot of messiness is going on in DC, so let's get into it.
Ain't shit to me, it's a walk in the park. Y'all too smart, can't talk from the heart. I got sauce and it's all for the charts.
The first domino in this saga to fall occurred within Washington's ownership. 60% of the team is owned by Dan Snyder, while the other 40% is owned by a trio of FedEx Corp CEO Fred Smith, Dwight Scharre, founder of NVR Inc., which is a home construction company, and Robert Rothman, CEO of Black Diamond Capital, a private investment company. Back in April of 2020, Snyder failed to pay out dividends to the rest of the owners, making the NFL step in with their own arbitrator. Fed up with Snyder's money management, the three men decided to sell their shares. When two wealthy DC executives made an offer, Snyder blocked the sale. Subsequently, the three minority owners sued him over this, and in true billionaire fashion, he sued them right back. Snyder filed a lawsuit against MEA Worldwide, a media company based out of India that tried to connect him with the infamous Jeffrey Epstein, despite there still being zero evidence of any relationship between the two men as of today. He believed Scharre, one of the three owners, was the main benefactor behind this smear campaign, going as far as accusing team employees of taking part in spreading false rumors about him in exchange for bribes. More importantly, it had been revealed that Jeff Bezos was in contact with Moog & Company, the sports investment firm that was helping the minority owners find a buyer. Buying a team would make perfect sense for the tech mogul, since he plans to step down as Amazon's CEO later this year. Back in 2016, he purchased a $23 million mansion in DC and spent $12 million more on remodel. Amazon has moved their headquarters to Arlington, which sits less than 5 miles away from the nation's capital. More importantly, Bezos owns the Washington Post, who has led the charge in publishing the damning allegations of sexual misconduct within the Washington football organization, under Snyder's watch. One interesting tidbit that has gone mostly unnoticed is that Moog & Company had been in constant contact with former team president Bruce Allen. For non-Washington fans, he had been with the team from 2009 to 2019, with a very bad track record. You could argue that he's more hated than Dan Snyder among the Washington fan base. The filing alleges that 87 phone calls were exchanged between Allen and Moog, who are longtime friends. These calls were made with the goal of directing negative publicity towards Snyder. Snyder and Allen were attached at the hip, so if anyone knows where the bodies are buried, Allen would be my first guess. After all, he certainly has the time on his hands to go through with something like this, considering none of the other NFL teams want anything to do with him. All of this means Snyder is going up against a three-headed monster. First, he has to deal with his minority owners, then a close confidant turned enemy in Bruce Allen, topped off by the richest man in the world. Or is it second richest now? He and Elon Musk always go back and forth, whatever. This past July, Snyder hired lawyer Beth Wilkinson to review the team's culture, policies, and allegations of workplace misconduct. Wilkinson is now reporting directly to the league office. A few days ago, DC radio station 1067 The Fan obtained information from the investigation and shared that the recommended course of action was to divest Snyder's ownership of the team, which is just a fancy way of saying they recommend forcing him to sell the franchise. A few days later, the NFL denied receiving a final report, but 106.7 still contends that the documents were legitimate. Most likely, this was a rough draft. What this obviously means is Snyder is in danger of losing the team, and when people find themselves cornered, they get desperate. Shout out to Michael Phillips of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, who caught on to the fact that several Twitter accounts that all popped up in October 2020 have been defending Dan Snyder ad nauseum, all tweeting the same exact things and conveniently tagging the NFL. I'm not even mad at Dan for doing this, but you mean to tell me you're a billionaire and you couldn't afford better bots? Or better yet, pay actual people to tweet for you and then get them to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Michael Phillips also found Facebook advertisements for an article about Dan Snyder's charity work from nyctalk.org. A website that is not updated regularly, does not have any contact information, and its domain is registered privately.
You gotta be better, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I like you, but you gotta be better.
To repair his image, Snyder has been working overtime to repair the optics within the football team, and it has not gone unnoticed. In his annual pre-Super Bowl press conference, Roger Goodell praised Dan and his wife Tanya for their efforts in changing the team's culture. I wonder how he feels about the bots. But in all seriousness, change has been made. It started last summer with the name change, then the firing of employees named in the sexual harassment story, and the subsequent hiring of Jason Wright, the NFL's first black team president, and Jennifer King, the NFL's first black female full-time coach. But looking at the context, it is extremely difficult to give Snyder the benefit of the doubt when it comes to believing these changes are genuine versus trying to save face. And that's where I was coming from with my theory on Dwayne Haskins being the sacrificial lamb. Former Panthers owner Jerry Richardson was unofficially forced to sell the team when he was accused of sexual harassment 3 years ago. The league certainly wouldn't hesitate to do the same to Dan Snyder, unless, of course, he obeys the NFL's agenda. They wanted the name changed, he did it. Hire a woman coach, he did that too. But an even bigger sacrifice was required. Parting ways with the QB that Dan Snyder moved mountains for. Nobody in the organization, and I mean nobody, wanted to draft Dwayne Haskins except for Snyder. Hell, Jay Gruden lost his job over it. Haskins made some very idiotic decisions during his time in DC, but for him to be the first quarterback in NFL history taken in the first round to get cut after less than 2 seasons with the team that drafted him, there was more to this than meets the eye. In this day and age where media prioritizes being the first source to deliver breaking news, I found it comical that the story of Dwayne Haskins' maskless stripper party was not touched for an entire day by mainstream sports media, only to be covered just a couple of hours after Snyder's own misconduct hit the internet. And with the popularity of fake news, journalists are quick to issue retractions and corrections to their mistakes. Yet they keep reporting that Dwayne was in a strip club. Think about the difference between having a small get-together in a hotel room versus going to a sweaty strip club that's packed to the brim with people mid-pandemic. The damage had been done. Dwayne Haskins was an immature and sex-crazed athlete who was willing to risk contracting COVID and infecting his head coach who was battling cancer. Because for him, strippers were more important than any football game. And there was no way the new Dan Snyder would tolerate these sexual shenanigans on his roster. On that note, all we can do now is wait for the investigation and ruling on what will go down in DC. As Michael Vick would say, I have no dog in this fight. Snyder hasn't done a great job running this team, but lately he has a different MO that seems to be working, even if he's only doing it to shut the media up. While on one hand Jeff Bezos sounds like a cool, trendy owner, on the other hand he's acquiring way too many assets and control of the economy for my comfort. According to a Washington Post reporter, the Jeff Bezos-owned newspaper has zero plans to stop searching for the skeletons hidden in Snyder's closet. He wants this team badly. And in this world that we're living in, the victor is usually the richer man. If you enjoyed this video, please check out the rest of my channel for some thought-provoking NFL videos, or if you like basketball, give my NBA Beef series a watch. And to those of you who attacked my character and hard work when I initially posted my investigation video, now that it's been revealed that I was right the entire time, you can kiss my